Hi guys, welcome back to Fata Morgana, and today we are going to be seeing the new ways Mell's story is going to develop. We're going to be seeing what happens when the swordsman, I would assume, knocks at his door. I don't know, there's just been some sort of twist, some sort of mysterious music, so wait, actually, I mean, from the backlog at the moment, there's not enough to infer that. But I think the next line is like, there's, yeah, someone at the door. So that kind of gives me the assumption that this is going to be the turning point of the story, and this is going to be where everything changes. It's going to be very exciting. And, yeah, it's going to be a bit weird as well, because I'm trying to read in my new chair, seeing if I like it. I hope I like it. I don't know if I will like it, but, yeah. Yeah, I'll just try. That's all I can do, really. Where should we read from? I just find it so cool to think about the fact that Mell is literally killing his sister. He does not know anything, and I think this really just shows how blind society is, just as a result of these ridiculous beliefs that, I don't know, for example, people like Morgana just have some sort of supernatural healing power. She is just a normal human being who looks very, very unusual. She is not. And obviously, before she looked unusual, she is just a normal human being who was born into weird circumstances. When I say that, I mean had a horrible mother who wanted to make money off of her, let's be honest here. Yeah. Yeah, I just find that so interesting. How they're just so unknowingly encouraging the placebo effect. Yeah, God, it's evil. It really, really is. And I love this part about Mell just finding everything so creepy as well, and really losing faith in Morgana, even though she is making her do all of this. Well, no, it's not even that he's making. If Mell said stop doing this instant, she would probably still do it. She wants to do this. She is doing it out of her own volition entirely. Yeah, ironic. No. And even if she is sacred, is that really right? I don't blame him for that. It just feels like Morgana is the way out to everything. So of course he would feel like that. Yeah, I don't blame him. Yeah, that's interesting. But let's be honest, he's mostly afraid of her because he's afraid of himself. Are they not answering? Oh god. I think he's gonna learn the hard way somehow. Yeah, fair enough. See, this is why he has bad parenting. Yeah. I mean, well, not necessarily bad parenting, but well, it is bad parenting in the sense that they haven't told him that this is dangerous. But well, they've thrown him into an environment that is completely unknown to him, and they haven't even told him things like this. But I suppose it's also he's had such a sudden change. When he was living most of the life in his house. His parents had responsibilities like that, so responsibilities his parents used to have been thrusted onto him, so obviously he doesn't really know what to do. Of course he doesn't. He hasn't been told. If he had been told, sure, but he hasn't. Yeah, it's him. Well, you don't necessarily sound friendly. She calls herself a saint to Mell. Of course he doesn't know any witch. I like that he said that. That's going to make this a lot more exciting. Interesting. I find it very interesting how it can totally be taken to taken both ways. Yep. Isn't it interesting to think about the fact that you don't even know you have the right person, and yet what you do is you assume authority, you literally push, you use violence. You are awful to them. You don't even know if this is the right person you're looking for. It's just interesting how senseless the violence that he is using is. If you ask me, at least. Why should we do that? But why? You've got to be kidding me, what? That was not what I was expecting. But to be fair, we've got indications that... yeah, seriously, why does... Dude, what am I even saying? Of course he won't ask for it himself. I wonder... yeah. Holy shit, he's really spied. But the reason he's spied indicates that he's very, very passionate about whoever he wants to save with the blood. Let's be honest, it's not himself. I swear there was something about... well, no. I suppose if you use Chapter 2 as a little blueprint, then of course this is for the nun. So the nun's in ill health. Is that what Yukimasa is trying to say? Also, is Yukimasa Japanese as well? Oh, I wonder. Yeah, just yeah. Just don't even finish the question. So does he currently have Mell gripped, or is it just, did he just shove him? Alright, okay. So they're just kind of standing facing each other. Well, yeah, that is a good question. Oh, you have orders from the Lord? Really? God. So Mell knows the Lord. Interesting. Oh my god. There is a connection that I don't think I've made that I really should have made. This Lord is the same one that caused the village to go into turmoil because he started taxing people because, well, they were living without tax. Yeah, he just uses his authority just as a means of extorting money out of them. I mean, they need to pay taxes, sure, but he's kind of using a legal requirement as a means of increasing his greed. True, that is reasonable. What made him consider... What is going to make Mell accept this proposition, though? That's what I want to know. Well, no shit! Yeah. I know, exactly, but the only thing is, let's be honest. I wonder what the reward is going to be. Yep. Yeah, totally reasonable. And isn't it interesting that here, his moral conscience really overpowers him? I bet you he's going to threaten him with death, though. Look, the swordsman is going to threaten Mell. Oh, God. Oh, fucking hell, that's horrible. Yeah, fair enough. I don't blame him, though. It must be very, very scary. Jesus fucking Christ. He's using all the tricks in the book. Oh my god. What a fucking arsehole. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Just a slight little remark of his cowardice. Oh my god, so they've got to do it now. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's totally laughing at him, I bet you anything. Yeah, I don't blame him. Yeah. Isn't it just interesting the lack of, well, just the abundance of cruelty here. And my god, it's interesting to see Mell. He would never ever hurt Morgana normally, but now he's just doing it out of, well, obligation. He doesn't even have a choice. It's either Morgana or Nelly, and you all know who he would want to accept, even though it would never be an easy decision. Fair. Oh my god, I know. And now you're being threatened by a psychotic swordsman. I mean, I'm sorry, but this guy is an actual psychopath. Like, seriously, he killed all of those people. And he even killed the bandits as well. Hang on a second, that's actually quite interesting. Something I've never really thought about. The fact that he was there in general. He was probably... I bet you anything, he probably, don't know, jacked somebody off. And then he just thinks, oh yes, let's just kill everybody here after the bandits came in. And obviously took them somewhere. God knows where. Yeah, totally. Oh god, if only. Sounds like chapter 1. Yeah, totally. He is a barbarian, I agree. God, I really do wonder how Mell must feel when Morgana's arm is going to be chopped off. So a lot of this wasn't really his fault, just because he could have either killed his sister or he could have killed Morgana. It's all just some ugly, ugly man forcing him to do this. And isn't it unbelievable to think about the fact that the only reason all of this is being caused is, let's be honest, for the Lord, who thinks he is up above everybody, just getting profit. That's all he wants from this. You'll ruin somebody's life just for profit. And here, lives could have been taken as well. Yukimasa might have killed... I bet you anything, if Yukimasa killed Nelly, he would have then gone after Mell, and he probably would have forced him to cooperate. Yeah, reasonable, yeah. Yeah, so you kind of don't want to do it, but at the same time you want it to be over as soon as possible. Sounds like exams. Oh yeah, the flow of time can be your worst enemy sometimes. Yeah. Well, you want her blood. You're going to deceive her as a friend. And it's awful, it really is. Yeah, she did nothing to deserve this. And even if she did do something to deserve this, it's wrong to, I don't know, fucking have will cause people to die. Like, seriously. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. I think it's interesting. I think that shows somebody who is properly desensitized to this. I mean, okay, it must hurt so much, but at the same time, you're so used to the pain that you've probably just forgotten how to feel it at this point. Having a high pain threshold would be really handy for somebody like Morgana. Shit. Totally. You do not realise how much she is going to be tortured. Yeah, you never know. Yeah. Isn't it ironic to think about the fact that Mell is somebody who is a good person who is obviously turning into... no, see, he's turning towards... I mean, I wouldn't really want to say delinquency, but I suppose something that's illegal. So, yeah. I suppose there's just him being so concerned about it. And then there's just the swordsman who has killed so many people in his fucking life that he doesn't even care. It's just interesting, the contrast. Well, I mean, the swordsman doesn't have a personal connection. Obviously, that helps. God, it's horrible. He really is having a panic attack. Yeah, of course he's going to do that. God, here we go. This changes everything. Oh God, and to think about the fact that he uses this as a means of gaining her trust is awful. Oh God, that was just painful. Oh God. I know. It's just sick. To think about the fact that she wants to talk when she is unknowingly going to be totally betrayed. Maybe something could have developed if it wasn't for this horrible, horrible lord. God, Morgana really found herself in the wrong place when she fled from the swordsman and the bandits. Sorry, the carriage. The bandits were taking everybody in. Yeah, but now it's kind of as if she's talking to Mell as an equal. Yeah, just proper insult to injury. God, what was she feeling? Yeah. Yeah. We've never seen her house, actually. Pretty accurate representation of what is going on. God, this must have been so tough for Mell to watch. And obviously fucking for Morgana as well. I mean, what an emotional headfuck. And then just some of the most intense pain you'll ever feel in your life. God, and of course he just doesn't say anything. Oh, God. God. God, and they just run. True. Oh, yeah. You only really understand her when this happens. Oh, shit. Fair. Yeah, I don't blame him. I really don't. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, he just, even though he has done it, and he has objectively helped the swordsman, he still doesn't take it because it's wrong, and he realizes that, and that's the most awful thing. True. Yeah. Jesus, I wonder what the swordsman was doing. Fair enough. Fair. Oh yeah, I don't blame him. Yeah. No, the swordsman was, you weren't. Unfortunately, even though Mell has not refused to do this, he really acted like any normal human being would. Do you protect the people you love, or do you... Well, do you protect your friends? Oh god. Yeah, I mean, anybody who cares about someone would do anything for them. And that's kind of Mell in this case. He just acted like a normal human being would, especially because of the fact that he was provoked and he didn't have time to make a rational decision. Well, no outcomes were good, but still. Yeah. It's the swordsman who has set it all in motion. Reasonable. Oh my god, isn't that a vivid thought? If you think about the fact that... Let's just see the exact conversation. Oh my god, yeah. Where is it? Yeah, isn't it interesting? You don't know that this is the right person until he tells you with his own voice that he is in contact with a witch. If he had played dumb and if he had totally lied, none of this would have happened. Isn't that interesting? So this all could have been prevented if Mell was... I'm sorry, but if he was not a coward. And... No, if his parenting was better and he didn't know to... And he was told not to tell all of his secrets to strangers and to defend them as much as possible, then maybe this would not have happened. So technically, Mell did cause this. Technically. Let's be honest, if it wasn't for Mell, the swordsman probably would have gone there anyway and murdered him, because I bet you there's something that's... Well, the swordsman needs the blood for some reason. What? This was not what I was expecting. He did threaten you, to be fair. Totally true. You did not have any choice. True. Mm. Oh yeah, yeah, you're just installing your filth into it. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. I suppose you're just stopping your thinking and you're just going instinctively. You're just so scared that you can't even think about anything else apart from getting all of this filth and just removing it, removing any trace of it from me. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Fair. Oh god, he must be a right state. No, you had an abundance of the medicine. It's not that. In other words, from the arm you would have got quite a lot of blood. Yeah, I don't blame him, I really don't. God. Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. So isn't it interesting, I suppose what's happened to him is he's become traumatized, obviously. I mean, let's be honest. Who would be like Mell? I mean, Mell already is like a bit of the cowardly type, a bit of the squeamish type. So to then go through something like this, of course you would be traumatized, and of course as a result of that you would find it very hard to think logically, and that's why his spending just to desperately heal Nelly would do well, has become so extreme. Ah, yeah, fair. Yeah. Fair. Yeah, I don't blame him. Hang on a second. I mean, I'm sorry, but he literally buys a turkey. Sorry, a chicken. And he doesn't even kill it in the end. It was probably very, very expensive as well. So, yeah, I mean, you waste your money, basically, for something you can't do. Which is kill the chicken. Let's be honest, would he know how to cook it as well? Good question. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's getting totally traumatized. I don't blame him though, it's very realistic. Oh god, what's this? Oh god! Yeah. Well, your sister's gonna die then. He's really insisting. Isn't it interesting? You don't care about your door being knocked down, but you care more about Nelly. I think that just really shows just the extent of how much Mell cares for her. God. This is the man that has ruined Mell's life, let's be honest here. Well, no, is it him or the Lord? Because he wouldn't be ruining Mell's life if it wasn't for orders from the Lord. Oh shit. Why does he want it? Yeah, why wouldn't you? You would get some unwanted housemates, like, I don't know, decomposers, maybe, as well? Not very hygienic, especially for somebody who's not ill, but, I mean, let's be honest, they don't really have this biological understanding that we just instinctively get in our education in the 21st century, but still. Just... But also... thinking with more of a psychological approach, he is traumatized. I don't think he will want the literal object of his trauma near him. No way. Yeah, you should just leave, please. Oh, okay. God, she's sick and yet she's still offering to go and get the visitor a drink. That really shows, well, I suppose, just how welcoming of a person she is, really. Yeah. Well, of course. Because unlike you, he doesn't kill people for a fucking living. God, he's being very honest. Yeah, yeah. To be fair, I never really thought about how odd it must have been for business. Because I've seen some local church things where there is money to be made, but I suppose that money goes to charities and it goes to local communities, and sometimes they do like markets for farmers markets for small businesses as well, so they can in general just support small businesses. Yeah, basically, not for profit gain, not for corruption, not for greed, which is what they are doing here. Why are you saying you sold it then? What is a tithe? What? Dude, fuck off. I don't care. Right, 1/10 of... What? What? 1/10 of annual produce or earnings, formerly taken as a tax for support of church and clergy. I remember seeing something about that when I did history in like year 7 and 8, and then I dropped it for GCSE. I did geography, not history, and I'm doing A-level geography. If you take history, please don't kill me. And I obviously did GCSE geography. That's interesting. He is probably from Japan. Well, that's the best way to do business. Make it so that your market doesn't think of it as a business. It's like a scam, for example. Find legitimacy. Make your customers not even aware that they are being scammed. Yeah. So you have done the most awful act of betrayal to Morgana. You could turn back. You could never ever live the same life that you lived before, but you could still live it. But you don't. And you give in. Why? What actually caused them to do this? I really do wonder. Can you even see me? Oh yeah, you can. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh. Why would they want a coward like him? Seriously, why? I don't understand. What, like, seriously, if you're going to get somebody, get someone like the swordsman. Get a merciless psychotic killer. Don't get somebody who's obviously going to get traumatized and really badly affected. Like, what is the Lord thinking? Oh, I forgot to mention one detail. You don't have a choice! Oh, interesting. But I'd assume when he says the miracle blood, he more is referring to the con that they are doing. So obviously, to keep that secret, they need to get him under constant surveillance. So he's just told him the secret, and now that secret is what's causing him to need to go into this position, I think. God. Yeah, no why, no reasoning with cruelty like this. Not any. Yeah. God, he just can't even contemplate it. He's just screaming. What? You're gonna die. I really don't know. I mean, To be honest, I don't know. I mean, you die and then Nellie's just going to die by herself, and obviously she's going to die in a horrible, horrible and painful death. And maybe Morgana would have been less psychologically tormented because of Mell being there, but at the same time, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose the only person Mell being alive actually benefiting is Nellie, to be honest. Sorry, I'm still getting used to this chair. Still don't know if I'm going to keep it. Yeah. Live in sin or die. Not even die a hero, just die. What, run and then firstly have Nellie killed, secondly probably be killed yourself? He didn't have any choice, he really was pushed into a corner because he knows about the miracle blood. Yes, you will just go with the flow, you will never challenge it. I'm sorry, you are not a weakling or a pushover. You are somebody who is properly understandable. Yeah, sure, you may seem like a coward, but I'm sorry, but I can't ever call him a coward after what he's gone through. There's just no way. That's just too cruel. That's just unfair. He's just a normal human being. Yeah. By the way, I love this background. It looks really, really unusual. I love the, it looks like firewood. Well, if you got rid of the key, you would have died. Oh, yeah. These people are not to be messed with. If you do, you face unimaginable... Well, you face threats. And you face potential for unimaginable pain. Yeah, he really was pushed to a corner. And that is what caused his decline. Yeah. God, that must have been painful every single day. Oh yeah, I don't blame her. She has a full right to think about that. Yeah, you just don't have the courage, you really don't. He was just pushed by desperation and pushed by instincts, and his life was ruined by very, very evil people. yeah. God, I really do wonder what Nelly is thinking. This is just so many things that she's probably never ever been able to tell about Mell. Yeah, I do wonder. He was totally threatened. He couldn't have anything else. He did not do this by choice. No way. But of course Morgana would see that. And of course Morgana would never ever want to understand him after just how much he has done to her. Or at least how much she thinks. It doesn't though. Yeah, I see that. But did he really have a choice? Nelly probably just really doesn't know what to say. Oh, and she's saying that with confidence. I bet you anything, just considering how her sprite looks. True. No, the other men, you need to mention the Lord. Do you know, I wish we saw a bit more of the Lord in this story. He is a terrible man, yeah. But does he have circumstances that we don't know about? Does the Lord have terrible circumstances that we don't know about? Key answer. We don't know! Something he's never really thought about, of course. I mean, how could you look at Morgana's eyes and then tell yourself that you have done nothing wrong? You never could have. He didn't, no. No, he really didn't. And it's interesting how even though he has done the situation, and like Michelle said, it doesn't really excuse what he's done, he really didn't have a choice. I wonder... I wonder what Michelle's going to say. Yeah. Yeah, Nelly definitely understands Mell, but Michelle really wants to change him. Fair. God, he really is getting scolded. Yeah, oh yeah, I get that, yeah. Yeah, that's totally reasonable. Imagine if he was honest, and it's just the sickest thing to think about the fact that he uses their relationship as a means of getting her to open the door and just completely faking her trust. It is the biggest insult, and I can totally see why Michelle would be mad. Yeah. But you couldn't, of course. You just feel inclined to incorporate because you would have died if you didn't. No, no, fair. You didn't. So it's interesting. You can kind of blame him for... You can not blame him because of the fact that he was threatened. But at the same time, you can blame him because he was too... Well, he was too indecisive and he didn't get anything done as a result of the threat, and he just went along with everything. He never even opposed the flow. But I mean, I don't blame him in a way because he's got an enemy of power that could never match his own. Of course he would not want to... Well, sorry, of course he would not be able to I don't know, to stop it. Fair. Oh yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, he just couldn't suppress his own emotions, and he wasn't thinking straight. He really wasn't. True. Not forever. True. Yeah. And Michelle is understandably really... He probably feels like he himself is betrayed by the betrayal of Morgana here. Oh no, he's properly drilling it into him. It just feels like all of that relationship that they have had and all of that trust and all of the connections has just totally been severed. Well, their connections severed when Morgana's arm was severed, if you like. It isn't true, but he still could have done more, and that's what Michelle was. Michelle was properly making him feel guilt. He's really, really talking from the heart, though. Yeah, fair enough. That's also true. God. So that's another reason. Yeah, I can see why Michelle is so mad. That is fair. I mean, if I'm going to be honest though, I think it is a bit ridiculous of Michelle to Well, no. No, you would have thought that if Mell was more of a person of true value, he would have realised the value in the connection he has with Morgana, and he would have done anything to tell her the truth. I do see that, but at the same time, I mean, can you really expect somebody to do that after complete and utter traumatic event? I mean, I think Michelle's being totally reasonable, and maybe he's acting a little bit impulsive as well, but at the same time, I think he is being a bit unfair. True. He obviously is very angry at him because of the fact that Morgana is somebody he cares about, and this all could have been prevented if it was for Mell being a bit better, but yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, but I think Michelle is being unfair. I do actually see what Mel's saying. But you could have explained afterwards, but you just didn't because you were scared. But what Mell was saying? Was he just meant to pull courage out of thin air that he didn't have? I mean, sure, Michelle cares for Morgana, but even he's being a bit unrealistic here if you ask me. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I like how he spins it. Of course he wouldn't see it, he's just so down the rabbit hole that he doesn't really feel any kind of ability to think that there is still potential for redemption, maybe. It won't, but you could still possibly make her not die and not kill the entire village. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. He can say from experience, my god. Yeah. Really? What if she properly understood your circumstances? That too, yeah. Yeah, reasonable. And he still believes this. Interesting. Reasonable. And isn't it ironic to think about the fact that if she has this thought, which is obviously a thought that a good person would have, your life is saved. Oh, sorry, her life is saved. Good for you, yeah. It's not your fault at all. It's Nellie's desperation. Sorry, Mell's desperation. It's not Nellie's fault at all. It's not really Nell's fault at all. It's more the Lord and the Swordsman's fault. But at the same time, obviously, how Mell could have acted might have been better. I like what Michelle was saying about forgiveness. It does make sense. Fair. Yeah, he's probably saying that from the spirit that he saw. Wow. He's so direct. Fair enough. Yeah. I think Michelle is speaking from experience, yeah. Fair. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a real job. Yeah. And isn't it ironic that even Mell, even as somebody as difficult as Mell, was very, very easy to get the key from in the last time we saw him. So I really do wonder if that's going to give an indication of how difficult it will be for the next two. No. Yeah, fair enough. Oh yeah. Michelle has barely any strength. I didn't realise he was a bodyguard. Okay. Yeah. Well, physically, sure, but what about mentally? Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, you probably are. Yeah. Yeah, just totally change the subject. Even the Lord. I really do wonder who that is. I like how he says that. Just give me the key. It's good for her to know the truth, I suppose. At least he's honest now, though. That's interesting, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, fair enough. He was probably expecting Nelly just to go the second... Well, the second it got bad. So it not only really deepens their relationship, but it also just changes in general how he perceives what has happened with Morgana. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Right. I think I'm gonna go back to the chair I'm used to. I don't really like that other one. Anyway, yeah, I kind of lost track there. What I want to do now is just kind of go over everything that we've seen, because there's some really, really cool stuff here. Let's go from here. Yeah. But I'll tell you what I find really interesting about Michelle's story, especially... Michelle. Sorry, I meant Mell. When you look at how Michelle really, really criticizes him for his selfishness, I think it's actually quite understandable, just because, firstly, he had all of the really, really traumatic stuff happen to him. And then, after all of that... Wait, hang on a second. No, so I suppose he had the thoughts. Actually, no, I'm gonna go back to this one. I just can't get used. Oh god, this is gonna be a fucking nightmare these few days. Anyway, yeah. So I suppose what I was saying. Yeah, but I suppose Mell was really, really traumatized. So obviously, he didn't really have the capacity to think anything else apart from himself, and he was suffering so much that I suppose it was really hard for him to be able to actually think logically and actually think about what he probably should have done in said situation. Yeah, and I suppose all of these things that Michelle thought. I thought what Mell was saying when Michelle was just thinking, oh, so this is my life, you just want to criticise every single part of it. You want to think that I have courage that just didn't exist. It is reasonable, but at the same time, if he had more of a moral compass, then maybe he would have been able to, just more awareness of what he is doing and how he could possibly fix it. But he never had hope, and that was the worst thing. And I suppose, with... Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think Nellie's reaction is totally reasonable. And isn't it interesting to think about the fact that even though Mell has done so many awful things, you really, really have a changed perspective when you see just what has caused this. And definitely like what Nellie's having at the moment. But I mean, to be fair, isn't it interesting that it's so easy to fall into this trap of thinking? Because that's the thing, when you have something really bad happen to you, you kind of just think about what has happened. You don't really think about what you could have done during what was happening to make the situation better. And I suppose that Michelle's kind of reflecting the part of his consciousness that he never really could have had. Even Nellie's standing up for Michelle. Sorry, for Mell. Yeah, exactly. But the only thing is, I mean, Michelle is acting out of emotion, sure. But can you really blame him? I mean, I'm sorry, but he was terrified. It's kind of the argument that he was terrified, so it's unfair to force these expectations on him. But at the same time, firstly, his incompetence has resulted in the ruination of another person's life. But secondly, it's also resulted in, I suppose, just... Well, no. I mean, I suppose if the confidence only affected him, it would be less impactful than if it affected someone else. And especially somebody he cared about and somebody who trusted him as well. He didn't really understand Morgana until the final moments, if you ask me. But the only thing is, I think this is a bit ridiculous because he was so scared and he could have had his life taken away from him. But if his connection for Morgana really was worth lots, then he would have. Yeah, you can't argue with that. She did exactly do that. Oh, alright, okay. Yeah, what did you do with that trust? What was any of the connection you made worth? And also, another way of thinking about it, she has given her blood. She has slit her wrists. She has done really, really painful things just so that you can be happy. So you kind of owe it to her. And I mean, obviously, I suppose Mell was taking atonement now, sure, but he could have done it then. He really could have. Michelle has made his point, but oh my god, he is not going to end it until he has delivered the most big blow. The time was really 9:03 when I made that save. Holy shit, have we got to read all of this? Oh well, yeah, why not? It would be beneficial. I think he said this so well. To be fair, it's interesting that... No, to be fair, when you take a human being and you deprive them of all of the things that make them happy and make them want to live, you just get fear, survival, anger, negativity, but the survival instinct. He wanted to live just for survival, just because he instinctively needed to carry on. So of course, something like this, he's just justifying, if you're in such a horrible circumstance, what's the problem with just doing anything you can to survive? Not risking it, not risking yourself. I suppose it's a bit of a selfish approach, but it would make sense for Mell. Yeah, that's a reasonable one. To be honest, ironically, Michelle wouldn't have been able to do better whatsoever, no matter how much you deny it, because he's a weakling. He really, really is. I mean, sure, he would have... Well, to be fair, he probably would have done everything he could verbally, but still, he is a weakling, so he couldn't have done much physically. I wonder if I'd beat Michelle in an arm wrestle. I probably would. No, actually, I definitely would. Yeah, to be fair, it is kind of the question of in what way is it Michelle's place, but I suppose you could argue that because he cares about Morgana so much, it is absolutely his place to do this. Yeah, that is fair. That is really fair. I mean, sure, it would have definitely been courageous to be able to save Morgana, but would that mean killing your sister? Yes. And would that mean you not being able to live whatsoever? Yes. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so I suppose Michelle's really drumming it into him just what he has done then, so he can maybe repair it by doing it now. I know that Michelle is doing this out of good intention, but he would be the most powerful manipulator with this kind of framework. Seriously. But to be fair, he is kind of steering the situation to his personal gain. It's only all lost when her life is lost, and obviously everybody around the church's life is lost as well. Yeah, I think this is interesting. Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting whenever somebody has a crisis and they really, really just idolise the good days. And if anything, sometimes they kind of exaggerate the true worth of the past just because of the fact that they want some sort of escape from their life at the moment. Oops. That was genuinely an accident. Yeah, no one's childhood lasts forever, no naivety happens, you have to grow up someday, and as a result of that, you have to take responsibility of what you have done, I suppose. Unless... well, I suppose... I just find it really interesting, his connection with Mell. Look, Mell's connection with Nelly, I meant to say. I don't know, I just can't say their names. I don't know why, they're just similar. I know the difference between the characters, it's really hard to instinctively say the correct name. Yeah, it is a really, really large burden, and Michelle does understand that, and yet at the same time he still tells Mell just how awful he handled it, and he still really, really makes that clear. But I'm sorry, if you were traumatized like that, you were never going to think, even if it's your fucking lover or something like that, or your parent, or, well, actually I don't know, but I just feel like in a situation like that you would just prioritize yourself, because it's just so terrifying that you need to, well, no, you wouldn't even think about the other person. You just prioritize yourself because it's just too scary not to. You'd be in too much fear not to, I suppose. Isn't it interesting, this selfish indication of Mell's character? And it is really weird because Mell's partly somebody who cares for his sister a lot. I think he cares for his sister a lot, he just doesn't want to admit it to himself. It's just easier to admit that he's a heartless, selfish arsehole. It's kind of... He partly cares for his sister because of the fact that it makes him feel good and like he has a sense of worth. But I think it's also just instinctive as well. But obviously when he wants to beat himself up, he just doesn't think that he could maybe naturally have love for his sister, and then as a result of that he just kind of thinks about the bad parts. Yeah, she doesn't have to forgive you. She doesn't have to recognise it, as long as your failure to look the other way doesn't result in Morgana dying. God, I do really wonder if we're going to be able to save her, what she's going to look like and how she's going to act, and what Michelle's going to do. If Michelle's going to be too late as well. Maybe he gets all the keys, but he gets them too late. Who knows? Yeah, whether you're going to do the right thing, true. Yeah, totally fair, and you would be better off without Morgana's blood. She's not exactly in the most humane of conditions. You really think somebody's going to have healthy blood who's in an environment like that? No, is the answer. Fair. So, it's interesting that Michelle says this. The fact that it's built on a foundation of lies. So I suppose his quiet life now, if that's the life that you're thinking of. Sorry, I got really sidetracked then. Yeah, if now is the quiet life he's referring to, sure, but if it's in the past, I don't really know. But yeah, of course, his current life is built on lies, and it's just built on him lying to himself, his sister being lied to, them not being able to truly connect, and obviously both of them feeling shit as a result of it. Let's be honest here. I love that Michelle was just so unwavering in terms of his conviction. And I remember when I think it was Mell asked, oh yeah, she was saying, look, if I get into a corner so bad that it might tear our relationship apart, will you be able to help me? And Michelle just totally hesitating, but now look at how confident he is. Just yes, nothing more, just full direct answer. But oh my god, Michelle is really being brilliant here, because it's just everything. It just feels like everything in Michelle's character is leading up to this moment, to be honest. There is no going back, fair enough. Yeah, it's just, this is always the case in really intense moments in visual novels, I find. Just if there's a really intense choice, you can either become very benefited from it, or it can ruin you. I've got the seal of approval. Yeah, it's just interesting. And you really do see, you see selfishness, you see cowardice, you just really see such a lack of drive for anything. But of course he wouldn't have much drive. I mean, he is somebody who... Oh, I like this. He's always been by he's been by himself for quite a lot of time. And in these most important moments, these are kind of the moments where you just need somebody to be able to talk to about the situation, but you don't have anybody, and if anything, the only company you do have are really awful people. So because of that, I think it's understandable, because there's nobody to motivate him, nobody to really tell him. He clearly can't see it in himself, so yeah, you would have thought that there'd be somebody there, but there isn't at all. Disagree. I mean, shit. What Michelle said was very, very true. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, and there are so many parts of Mell's character that are really, really understandable, and you could definitely make the argument that Michelle was being quite unfair by expecting him to do this, but to be fair, he could have. He really could have. But you could make the argument that he's being unfair, but yeah, this is interesting what he says here. Fair enough. Don't live in the past of lies, change the future. Well, on the surface, sure. And I mean, okay, Yukimasa is, in this, a psychopath. Like, an actual psychopath. Who massacres so many people just because they just felt like it. Oh, today's a nice Sunday morning. Let's just commit I don't know, genocide or something like that. It's just ridiculous. Jesus Christ, imagine. Oh yes, today's a nice Monday morning. Let's just do nuclear warfare. Yeah, and isn't it interesting? This is just the part that I suppose Michelle's probably really, really angry, just at angry at what he's done to Morgana, but also just the reference to his childhood and just something very... Nah, it's Amy. It's not even about his childhood. It's Amy. That's why. Amy! You don't need to say anything else apart from Amy. Isn't it interesting how little Gazelle has intervened? Gazelle is probably just watching. She's probably really, really proud of Michelle at the moment. Who's the Lord close to, though? I mean, obviously... I mean, the only person Lord was... What? Maria. But who is Maria here? Oh my god, that's interesting. Shit, this is gonna be exciting. Who is Maria in this story? Yeah, and isn't it interesting that even though this was just a selfish request so that Mell wouldn't crumble, that's still what Nelly believes. Yeah, God, elaborate, because that can be taken out of context. Let's just say that. We're visual novel readers. Of course we'll take that out of context. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah. Totally reasonable. And isn't it interesting just... Yeah, maybe Nelly would have actually died. Who knows? So it's interesting that this is what Mell feels like, and yet Nelly says that it's just him beating himself up. Just the fact that Nelly, even though she's his sister, doesn't really hold much meaning at all, because it's just a valuable person to him that makes him feel happy. That could be anybody. It could even be another lover. So her role as a sister is just meaningless. But at the same time, Nelly realises that he's underappreciating who he is, because Nelly sees kindness rather than selfishness. Surprising. Well, I suppose you'd do anything for the person that you like still, but yeah, I'd question that. Yeah, and isn't it interesting that she can never bring herself to hate Michelle? Fucking Mell. I mean, it's interesting when you have a situation like this and you kind of try to evaluate how bad you were being. Yeah, sure you did, but you had no idea of knowing that there was something more. You couldn't have known. So even though you're blaming yourself now and thinking that you could have done better, to actually have done better is really unrealistic, if you ask me. Isn't it interesting that Nelly and Mell, they really do both see flaws in everything? It's not just Mell who's flawed. They both collectively cause this. Mell really needs somebody to push him. And it's good that he has Nelly. Yeah, that's interesting. Michelle really made these two grow up. Both of them. Yeah, I kind of see what Michelle's saying here. Oh, totally, yeah, but the only thing is, I suppose, the other Nelly has love that gets really uncontrollable for Mell. But it's interesting that you kind of only see Mel's good side in front of Nelly. Yeah. That's fair enough. But obviously this Nelly's love isn't as serious as the other ones. Yeah. Yeah. True, all of these tragedies could have been avoided, totally. So if they could have realised the excessive love and realised the dishonesty that that's making their relationship have, then maybe that tragedy could have been prevented as well. But the only thing is, obviously, I suppose there needs to be a realisation of excessive love, because it kind of turned to psychopathy in chapter 1. Sorry, I meant door 1. I keep on calling it chapter 1. It's not chapter 1. Yeah, exactly. You can never tell. Maybe they won't have a next life. Maybe there will be no Morgana which needs to curse anybody if this all works out. Who knows? It could, yeah. Or maybe they won't even have another life now. Who knows if this works out? It's really hard to tell. It all depends on how you affect Morgana. I don't think so, but if Morgana chooses to not curse them, then sure, all of this will. It's hard to tell, it really is. I mean, but the only thing is, I suppose Fata Morgana has the idea of souls being very, very significant. So I suppose if in a soul level, if the soul learns just what its fundamental flaw is, then maybe it will change the next Nelly. Yeah, God, isn't it hard to believe? Yeah. Why did Gazelle not do anything? Yeah. But the only thing is, I'm sorry, but look at... This is another one of Mell's situations. This person has so much torment that they can't think about anything apart from themselves. Their heart that's about to fucking disintegrate if they don't do anything about it. Especially that head fuck of Michelle being there. Yeah, yeah. Fair enough, but at the same time, what's more morally correct? Michelle getting to the core of these characters and understanding them the most, or Gazelle acting and preventing possible tragedies that these people could have... Well, possible tragedies that could have happened. Because let's be honest, all of these tragedies were preventable. I think Yuki Masa's, though, was definitely the hardest to prevent, but, yeah. Jacopo's tragedy, I mean, just a few words from the maid could have done something. To be fair, it's complicated for Gazelle because if she intervenes a lot, she might get fired because just meddling into other people's personal circumstances is not really something that should be allowed, and she might get fired, and then it's not very good if you can't leave the mansion, is it? You'll just have to be Morgana and just spend your days in the observation tower praying nobody... Well, I suppose in your case you'd have to pray that nobody sees you. It's interesting that even if this doesn't have an effect on anything, it will change possibly how Nellie's soul operates, and it might actually help in their next life. But that's thinking a bit wishfully. Sorry, that's thinking a bit in the worst case scenario. Interesting. Yeah, because I suppose Michelle has got just that increased level of understanding as a result of Gazelle giving a very detailed recount of them. And what's really nice is he knows them. He really, really knows them well. So, of course, he would be able to understand them that much. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I really do. Yeah, maybe, yeah. Dude, she still caused she still caused Morgana's left arm to be cut off. That's all I need to say. Like, in her head, you're going to have a very difficult job getting her convinced that he is not evil. A very, very difficult job. Very difficult. Yeah, but you're going to have a real job. Mell has to change significantly for that to happen. Mell has to do the change that Michelle made. Seriously. Yeah, I do wonder. I really do wonder. I mean, I disagree with this as well. Because you need to get Mell into a into a frame of mind where he can actually atone for what he does, and he can actually really, really just do the most brave conversation to Morgana, even if it doesn't even result in anything, just to make her know the truth. Oh my god, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, who knows? What? Is this Michelle's room? Let's just check. I'll just get my video of some sort of Let's Play episode that has this. Oh shit, I hid my YouTube thumbnails, so Why Gazelle truly came to the mansion. That's a good title. Oh god, so that's Michelle's backstory. Okay, right, here we go. We've got the scene of Michelle and the knife. Oh, no, of course it's not. No. No, it's... No, there's no way it's the same room. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, he's been in this mansion for... He was a resident of the mansion for the last 13 years of his life, so, yeah. Because of Morgana. True. Yeah. I'm glad he asked us. True. Interesting. Oh fuck. god. Oh god. Number one material. Holy shit, that's cheesily put. Oh. Yeah, they're thanking him in the end. Because it really, really has changed their relationship for the better. But it's interesting to think about the fact that the way this is explained is just how it kind of feels like Michelle has known them all their life, and it feels like they really aren't strangers. But I mean, let's be honest. He knows a significant amount of information about both of them, more than a lot of people would know. Ironically, even though they've met today. And I suppose it's just interesting that they kind of feel this special sense of connection to him. But I suppose that's just one of the really weird fantasies of this story, just their souls having some sort of opportunity to connect in the past, really. Well, no, their souls have connected in the future, but maybe they know each other. I'm sorry, they feel like they know each other instinctively because of fate or something like that. I don't know, it's really weird. It's just one of those things that can't be possibly explained with human logic. It's cool. Well, you're not out of the situation yet. If they realise you have given your key to someone else, you're dead, man. You're really, really dependent on Michelle to get you out of this situation. But at least he's got an improved relationship with Nelly now, I suppose. I see that, yeah. Well, you realise that. Change it. Oh, isn't it interesting that we see kind of like a red little fade into dark red with Mell's story, but now we see a fade into blue. I suppose that just shows kind of like a change in moods. If you call Michelle's life good, then you've probably experienced worse than Morgana. Let's be honest here. I think you should really just say what the truth was. Obviously, don't mention you're intersex, because then that would just create a lot more problems, but still. Oh, he definitely was. Isn't it interesting that he can get that impression? But I think the reason why Michelle can so passionately help somebody is because of exactly the opposite. He probably sees he probably sees himself as well in Mell in some ways. That's really sweet. Yeah, he's probably really quite disturbed as a result. Yeah. I know. If anything, Michelle's had a much more of a rough deal than Mell. No. Yeah, fair. Yeah. And you can't bear seeing somebody going through pain that is just unimaginable. Probably worse than the pain you had. Well, it's not a competition, but still. Let's be honest, it probably is. Yeah. Isn't it interesting when he says loss? Maybe they died to him. Well, it was as if he had lost them when he departed from Mansion. Yeah. Think about Higurashi if you've read it. Yeah, because they understand the proper value of being right. That is actually very true. He's gone from somebody, that's just something you haven't really noticed. It's interesting that firstly he was kind of held back by awkward social encounters and being really, really bad in terms of how awkward he was. And he was careless. He was really, really careless. But now he's developed to become more strategic in how he talks. But also he's just brilliant. I mean, he's just totally forgotten about any of his problems because, let's be honest, Morgana's problems are so much more important than anything he could have. And I suppose that's kind of made him forget about his issues in a way. It's weird. Oh yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. It's just brutal to think that they couldn't live a life together here. True. Well, at least she's here. That makes things a lot better for Michelle. When I say she, I meant Gazelle. Yeah. Yeah, fully fair. Yeah. It's awful, especially because you're having to work so hard just to destruction, but the only thing that's worst is they really are prioritising saving Morgana over themselves and their future. It just feels like everything's going to aim towards such an intense climax, and then it's just going to end. It's going to be as if it never even happened. I wonder if Morgana dying here rewrites time. Like, in the future. Yeah, fair. You've got to get both the Lord and Yukimasa on your side tomorrow, in my opinion. It's going to be such a demanding task. Nah, you've got to be the best performing you possibly can. Get up fucking early as well. Get up at like 6. Something. Sleep is not a priority here. Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Yeah. True. How can the swordsman... How can somebody as nice as the nun like somebody as sick as the swordsman, though? I really wonder. If anything, I would have thought that the swordsman would be more fitted for somebody like Maria. True. That would be quite cool. I know. True. Maybe she didn't know. Maybe the Lord had somebody in secret. It is interesting that only 5 people were told of. That's puzzling, I wonder. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh no, he needs Gazelle, yeah. If it wasn't for Gazelle saying deep breaths, maybe he would have hit him, and maybe his entire message would have not gone through because he used violence when he was insulted by his strength, let's say. Oh god, yes, so many cheesy things that he might have said that if you looked back on it you would just, I suppose you'd be able to just realise. Oh shit. The fuck? What is it? Sorry, I'm so confused about this chair. Let me just sort this out. Okay. There we go. This fucking... But obviously she needs to intervene if anything gets really bad, because that could result in everything going wrong. Isn't it interesting that no matter what happens, death awaits them? I suppose if they don't win here, they'll probably just live a life without Morgana. They'll probably live in this reality and then they'll die. The mansion won't be destroyed, and Morgana will just go on living in hell. Fair enough. Oh my god, that's so good. I wonder how much sleep they got in the end. I know, it's not fair. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, so... There we go. Happened eventually. God, this is gonna be cool. The fuck? Oh. The blood of the saint. Oh my god, I love this theme. It feels so weird seeing such a nostalgic theme in such a late part of the visual novel. Didn't realise my webcam was so crappily positioned. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that was really quite fun, and it was nice seeing the end of Mell's story, and also just in general how everything really changed him and his relationship between Nelly, and it was also just really quite interesting to see how I suppose Michelle and Gazelle act, and yeah, it was a really quite nice session today. Yeah, so I'm really excited for tomorrow actually. I think this mystery about there only being 5 people, I do wonder what that's all about. Or maybe there is a 6th person. Oh, there's gotta be. Like a 6th person that Morgana doesn't know about, or something like that. Maybe a mistress or something like that, I don't know. Well, it's the Lord, let's be honest. You wouldn't bat an eyelid. Anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.